What if you could have a personal robot? And no, hold on. I am not talking about Tesla's Optimus clanking around your kitchen.
Ah, yeah, breaking all your plates.
Exactly. I'm
Yeah.
talking about a robot that lives inside your PC or your Mac. A robot who could talk to your computer, talk to all the major AIs like ChatGPT or Gemini on your behalf, and actually do some real work.
Right.
And the kicker, what if the software itself was completely free?
It's the ultimate what-if scenario, isn't it? I mean, it sounds like something straight out of a cyberpunk novel.
It really does.
Or at the very least, something that should cost you, I don't know, an enterprise-level subscription fee of like $5,000 a month.
Right. I mean, we're so used to the current model. We're so used to these AI chatbots being these walled gardens owned by big tech.
Oh, absolutely. You go to their website, you type in a box, you get your answer, and then you leave. You're a visitor in their house.
Exactly. But today we're looking at something different. We're looking at an open source alternative that prioritizes privacy and technical sovereignty.
Yeah.
Now, I know you're thinking,
Here it comes.
privacy, sovereignty, boring.
It's the vegetable of the tech world. Everyone knows they should eat it, but nobody really wants to.
Perfect analogy.
Yeah.
And let's be real. Most people are literally fine giving their data to Meta or Google if it saves them 5 seconds. But here is the crucial thing, and this is why I think today's deep dive is going to grab you.
Okay.
What if this alternative actually makes you more productive? What if the privacy is just, a nice bonus? But the real hook is that this robot has hands.
That is the paradigm shift. I mean, we are talking about moving from a centralized AI paradigm where you are a guest, abiding by their rules, to a decentralized, local-first approach.
It's the difference between renting a car and owning one.
Exactly. It's the difference between renting intelligence and owning the infrastructure that runs it.
And just to be super clear, this isn't just about another chatbot. We are going to use this phrase a lot today. An agentic layer. It sits on your own hardware. It transforms a large language model from, like, a chatty conversational partner into a functional extension of your local system.
So it's not just talking, it's doing.
It is doing. Imagine an AI that can read and write files on your computer, execute shell commands, and automate workflows across multiple apps, all while your data stays right there with you.
You're giving the AI agency. It's the difference between, say, asking a consultant for advice and hiring an employee who can actually go and do the paperwork.
I love that distinction. And by the way, we are not just saying this from reading the manuals or the marketing fluff.
We went into the trenches on this one.
We actually did an install. We tried to set this up on a Windows 11 machine using WSL2. We are going to share that experience. High level, I promise. We won't read you the error logs line by line, but we wanted to show you the reality of it.
The good, the bad, and the ugly.
All of it. And if you're listening and you decide to try this, please feel free to ask questions in the comments if you hit a roadblock. We would absolutely love to help you out because we know the pain.
Oh, we have felt the pain.
Welcome to the Deep Dive. I'm Satosha.
And I'm
We have. But before we get into the nuts and bolts of the installation and the philosophy behind this lobster bot, we have a little bit of housekeeping to do regarding the show itself.
Just a quick update on where we stand.
Yes. First off, a massive, massive thank you to the audience for the response so far. It's been incredible. However, looking at the charts, we are still trailing our target of 1,000 subscribers.
The magic number.
It really is a magic number. And I know 1,000 might just sound like a vanity metric, something influencers brag about, but it's actually really important for us. It opens up funding for the Mosaic AI video editor.
And that is a total game changer for the content we can produce. I mean, right now we're audio first, but this topic, today's topic, it just cries out for visuals.
It really, really does. Once we hit that funding goal, we can start doing companion videos. We want to show you clear visuals of the charts we're talking about, the numbers, the equations, the math. You get it.
We want to actually show you the interface, show you the code running.
Exactly. We want to visualize this data for you so you aren't just imagining what the install process looks like. So please, if you get value from this, subscribe if you haven't already on YouTube, YouTube Music, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and of course, Fountain.fm.
I have to say, I really love Fountain.fm. It's such a fascinating platform.
Me too. We love it because it allows our listeners to boost the show with as low as 100 sats. For those who don't know, that is literally 10 cents, a dime.
Incredible.
But at the same time, it lets the audience burn sats just for listening to the show. Isn't that amazing?
It really is. It's the power of micropayments running on the Lightning Network. It's not just a direct-to-creator, value for value model. It is an opportunity for listeners to actually experience the Lightning protocol firsthand.
You're part of the system.
You are. It's the future of monetization, honestly. I really believe that.
Absolutely. Okay, check the descriptions for the links to all the references we are about to discuss. Now, drum roll. Let's dive into the world of Claude.bot.
Claude.bot. And yes, the name itself is a bit of a pun. CLAWD.
It is. We're exploring this open-source personal AI assistant that's challenging the dominance of walled gardens like Meta and Google. We'll explore its local-first philosophy, its modular architecture, and its integration with the decentralized Nostr protocol for censorship-resistant messaging.
And we'll also get into the economics. This whole bring your own key, or BYO's model, and how Claude.bot lets you leverage your existing AI subscriptions to create a truly sovereign personal operating system.
It's a fascinating case study in what happens when users decide to take back control of the interface.
It really is. It's not just software, it's a stance. It's a statement.
So let's unpack this. Where do we even begin? I think we have to start with the origin story. It all begins with a developer named Peter Steinberger.
Right. And if you know the Mac ecosystem, or if you've been around the iOS development scene for a while, that name might ring a bell. He's not a newcomer.
Not at all.
He's known for creating very sophisticated, high-quality utilities for macOS. He founded a company called PSPDFKit, which is this massive PDF framework that a lot of big apps use.
So he appreciates software that feels good to use, software that is robust and well-crafted.
Exactly. He's not a script kiddie just, throwing things together with duct tape and glue.
He's an engineer's engineer.
That's a great way to put it.
Yeah.
But with Claude.bot, he introduced a persona that is, well, it's unique. It's a bit whimsical.
It's a space lobster.
It is a space lobster, yes.
His name is Claude, spelled C-L-A-W-D, like a claw. And this brings us to what he calls the lobster way.
The lobster way. And it sounds funny, and the branding is definitely tongue-in-cheek, but the philosophy behind it is actually quite serious and quite rigorous.
What is it exactly?
It's about building high-quality, malleable software where the user, that's you, owns the gateway, owns the data, and owns the execution environment. You own the whole stack.
Okay, this is the fundamental shift we teased in the intro, and I really want to drill down on this because it's easy to gloss over.
It is.
Think about how we use ChatGPT right now. You open a browser tab, you go to openai.com, and you type something. You are going to them.
Exactly. It's a reactive, web-based portal. You are visiting their territory. You are logging into their servers. Every single keystroke is sent across the internet to some data center in Virginia or Oregon. It gets processed and then sent back. You are a client.
And Claude.bot just flips that on its head.
Completely. Claude.bot is an agentic layer that sits on top of your hardware. It turns the LLM from a destination you visit into a utility that lives in your house.
Ooh, I like that.
Think of it like electricity. You don't go to the power plant to charge your phone. The electricity comes to you, and you use it how you see fit in your own home. Claude.bot pipes the intelligence into your local environment.
And technologically, this isn't some dusty old bash script from the 90s.
Oh, not at all. It's built on TypeScript and Node.js.
The latest stuff.
Specifically Node.js version 22 or higher, which is, that's bleeding edge. It uses PNPM for dependency management. It's a very modern, very clean stack.
And the beauty of it is its versatility, right? It's not just for one kind of computer.
Not at all. It runs on macOS, Linux, Windows, which, as we said, we will get to in painful detail, and even a Raspberry Pi.
Raspberry Pi,
Yeah.
That just blows my mind. That means you could have a dedicated physical device, a little box sitting on your desk that costs $50, and that little box is your AI brain.
Exactly.
It's separate from your main computer.
Precisely. And that is the definition of modularity. You can decouple the intelligence from your workstation. It creates a kind of physical sovereignty that's really interesting.
Okay, so speaking of running this thing, we have to talk about our we did it moment. Or maybe our we almost didn't do it moment.
That's more like it.
We decided, hey, let's not just read the documentation like responsible journalists. Let's actually try to install this on a Windows machine.
And that was, well, it was educational.
Educational is a very, very polite word for it. I would use the word humbling or maybe infuriating.
It was a stark reminder of the complexity of modern operating systems and their little quirks.
So let's set the scene. I grab my Windows laptop. It's a decent machine, Windows 11. I pull up the GitHub repository for Claude.bot. I see the instructions. npm install. I think, great, I've done this a million times before.
Famous last words.
Totally. I open up PowerShell, I type the commands, just disaster.
A sea of red text.
Walls of red text. I felt like I'd broken the computer. I was like, what did I do?
And to explain why this happened, we have to look at how these operating systems are built. The core issue is that the installer and the code base for Claude.bot, like, frankly, many open source projects, are written with Linux-centric assumptions. Meaning they assume files and paths work in a very specific, predictable way. In Linux, everything is a file. Paths use forward slashes. Everything is simple and logical. Windows does not do that. Windows has a completely different architecture for its file system. It has backslashes instead of forward slashes. It has drive letters like C and D. And the big one, it allows spaces in folder names like program files, which drives command line tools absolutely crazy.
We ran into this specific thing called the split environment issue. Can you please explain that? Yeah. Because I stared at that error message for a solid hour.
Right. So this is a classic Windows problem. When you install Node.js on Windows, it creates this strange duality. It puts a stub npm folder in your program files directory. This is just a shortcut, essentially, a little signpost.
Okay.
But your real npm, where the packages actually live and get installed, is hidden deep, deep, deep in your user app data folder. It's in a completely different part of the hard drive.
So it's like hiding your car keys in the attic, but leaving a picture of the keys by the front door.
That is a perfect analogy. And Claude.bot's installer, it saw the picture by the door and tried to drive the car. It got completely confused.
We kept seeing this error. npm error code ENO-EM. Over and over.
Error no entry. Basically, the computer saying, I literally cannot find the file you are talking about. Even when we ran it with admin rights, even when we tried to manually fix the system paths and the environment variables, the installer just got hopelessly lost in the Windows folder structure.
And don't even get me started on PowerShell execution policies. I felt like I was fighting my own computer just to get the helper to run.
Right, you have to run a command to give yourself permission to run a script you just downloaded.
It feels so backwards.
It's actually a security feature of Windows to prevent malicious scripts from running, but for a developer, it is a massive hurdle, and this is a common friction point. Open source developer tools are often built by people on Macs or Linux machines. For people on Macs or Linux machines, Windows support is often an afterthought, sadly.
I was about to get that. I really was. I was ready to just say, well, I guess this is for Linux experts only. But there's a solution. And once we switched to it, it was like the clouds parted and the sun came out.
WSL2, the Windows subsystem for Linux.
If you are on Windows and you want to run Claude.bot, listen to me right now. Do not even try the native install. Don't waste your time. You will lose your hair. Just go straight to WSL2.
It's incredible technology for those who don't know. It literally runs a full, genuine Linux kernel inside your Windows installation. It's not an emulator. It's the real deal, running side by side with Windows.
So I just went to the Microsoft Store. I searched for Ubuntu. I clicked install. A few minutes later, I opened the terminal. It looked like Linux. I typed the install command.
It worked instantly, flawless.
It just flowed. Green text, check marks, done in like 2 minutes.
And it works because WSL2 provides that genuine Linux file system. There are no permission issues with program files. There's no confusion about where NPM lives. It matches the installer's assumptions perfectly because, for all intents and purposes, it is Linux.
But here's the part that really surprised me. I was worried that if it was running in this subsystem, it would feel isolated. Like, would I have to use some weird Linux browser or something? But no. It exposes localhost to Windows.
This is the magic of the networking bridge they've built. You run the server in the Linux terminal window, then you just hit the Windows key, open your normal Chrome or Edge browser on your Windows desktop, type in localhost.300, and boom!
There it was, the Claude.bot user interface.
Yeah.
Zero latency. It feels completely native, but it's running cleanly in its own little sandbox. It really is the best of both worlds for Windows users.
It creates this beautiful bridge between the stability and predictability of Linux and the usability and familiarity of the Windows desktop.
So we got it running. We're looking at this interface. It's clean. It's minimal. But what are we actually looking at? Let's break down the anatomy of this agent. The documentation describes it in 4 main pillars, and I really like the biological metaphors they use.
It really helps to visualize it as a living system. So first you have the gateway, and you can think of this as the nervous system.
The control plane?
Right. The gateway is the boring but absolutely essential part. It manages the connections to the outside world. When a message comes in from WhatsApp, the gateway catches it. When a message comes in from Telegram, the gateway catches it. It also handles all the background scheduling. It's the heartbeat of the system.
So it's the receptionist and the traffic cop all in one.
That's a great way to put it. It keeps the lights on and the doors open.
Mm.
Without the gateway, nothing gets in or out. It's the foundation.
Okay, so that's the nervous system, the plumbing. Next up is the agent.
The agent is the cognitive engine. This is the brain. This is the part that actually interfaces with the large language model itself.
This is where the actual AI lives.
Correct. Whether you are connecting to Claude 3.5 Sonnet in the cloud or a local Llama 3 model you're running on your gaming PC, the agent is a component that constructs the prompt, sends it to the model, receives the answer, and processes the intent. It's the part that decides what to do.
And once it decides what to do, it needs a way to actually do it. That brings us to the third pillar, the skills.
The hands. This is the extension layer. And for me, this is the most exciting part. This is what truly differentiates an agent from a chatbot.
A chatbot can talk about browsing the web.
Exactly. You ask a chatbot, can you book me a flight? And it says, I'm sorry, I can't do that, but here's a link to Expedia for you.
Right. It gives you homework.
It does. An agent with the browser control skill can actually open a headless Chrome instance in the background.
Wait, pause there. Headless Chrome. What does that mean? Is that like a browser without a window?
That's exactly what it is. It's a ghost browser. It runs in the background, completely invisible to you. It loads the web page, it sees the HTML code, it renders the page in memory, but it doesn't display the graphics on your screen.
So it's faster and cleaner.
Much faster. But to the website, it looks just like a regular user. So the agent uses these hands to navigate to the URL, find the buy button, and click it. It can fill out forms, it can do the work.
That is wild. And the skills are tools from their Claude Hub, marketplace, shell execution, API interaction, file manipulation. It's like giving the robot a tool belt with a whole bunch of different attachments.
And finally, the fourth pillar, which I think is maybe the most important one, especially from the privacy angle. Persistent memory.
The soul.
The soul, yes.
That sounds pretty profound. Why is memory the soul of the agent?
Because without memory, you're just a calculator. You have no continuity. You have no identity. In a typical cloud chatbot like ChatGPT, your history is stored on their servers. They own your past.
Right.
With Claude.bot, the memory, the context of who you are, what you asked last week, your preferences, your inside jokes is saved in local markdown files on your disk.
Wait, markdown files? Like just simple text files?
Just simple text files,
Yeah.
.md files that you could open with any text editor.
That means I can literally open them up and read them. I can edit my own AI's memory with Notepad.
You can. If the bot remembers something wrong about you, you can go into the file and delete that line. It's effectively brain surgery on your AI, but totally safe.
That's amazing.
And crucially, it lives on your disk. If you go offline, or if the OpenAI servers melt down, or if the company that makes the model disappears tomorrow, you still possess the memory of your assistant. That is true data sovereignty.
So we have the nervous system, the brain, the hands, and the soul. But let's move to the so what factor, because I can hear the listeners saying, okay, cool tech stack, guys, but why do I need this? I have ChatGPT on my phone.
This is where we get into computer use. This is the real frontier. We are moving beyond just chat.
The documentation mentions this incredible example about doing market research. I think this really crystallizes the value. Imagine you need to get home insurance in California.
Which, if anyone listening lives in California, you know is an absolute nightmare right now. Insurers are pulling out of the state, rates are skyrocketing. It is a full-time job just to get a quote from somebody.
It is. You have to check Travelers, AAA, Mercury. You have to fill out these long, tedious forms with your address, your VIN number, your roof type, your square footage. You have to compare the pricing for 2025 versus 2026.
Traditionally, you'd sit there for 4 hours, opening a dozen tabs, copy-pasting numbers into an Excel spreadsheet, getting frustrated, getting timed out of sessions. It's awful.
But with Claude.bot, walk us through the actual workflow. How does the robot do it for you?
So you'd use a model that has computer use capabilities like Gemini 2.5 or Claude 3.5. You simply type into your Claude.bot interface. Find me the best home insurance rates for this address in California. Here are the details of my house.
And then what happens inside the black box? What does the bot do?
So the agent parses that request. It understands the intent. It realizes, okay, I need to browse the web. It spins up that headless Chrome instance we talked about. It navigates to the traveler's website.
And how does it know where to click?
It looks at the screen. These new models are multimodal, so the AI literally analyzes the DOM elements or even a screenshot of the page and identifies the input fields. It sees a box and a label that says first name. It knows to type your name there. It sees square footage. It types 1500.
But what if a pop-up appears? Like one of those annoying accept cookies banners. A normal script would just break.
That's the magic of these new computer use models. They are trained to handle visual noise and interruptions. If a cookie banner pops up, the AI sees it, understands it's blocking the form, and clicks accept or reject to clear it, just like a human would.
That is the difference between a dumb script and a true AI agent. A script would break if the button moved 1 pixel to the left. The AI sees the button and understands its purpose.
Exactly. So it does this for 3 or 4 different carriers. It navigates all their forms. It scrapes the final pricing. And then, and this is the kicker, it doesn't just paste a wall of text back at you.
Right.
It generates a clean markdown comparison table and saves it to a file on your desktop called insurancerates.md.
It makes the spreadsheet for you.
It does the work. It's not just telling you how to find insurance. It is actually going out and finding the insurance.
There was also mention in the docs about dispute resolution. This one really blew my mind. A user apparently had the bot draft responses to insurance carriers that were rejecting their claims.
This is where the reasoning capability shines. Insurance policies are incredibly dense. They are written in legalese that is specifically designed to confuse you.
To make you give up.
Exactly. So the user fed their policy PDF to Claude.bot and said, they denied my claim for water damage. Here is their denial letter. Is this valid based on my policy?
What did it find?
The bot analyzed the entire policy, found a specific clause in a subsection that contradicted the denial letter, and then it drafted a formal response citing the specific section and paragraph of the contract.
So it wrote back saying something like, per section 4, paragraph B of my policy, water damage is covered if caused by...
Exactly that. The user just copied, pasted, and sent that letter. The carrier's lawyers looked at it and realized, oh, this person knows what they're talking about. We can't just steamroll them. And they triggered a reinvestigation of the claim.
Except the person who knew what they were talking about was a space lobster running on a PC. That is incredibly empowering. It levels the playing field against these massive corporations.
It really does. It democratizes access to high-level legal and contractual analysis.
Now, you mentioned the gateway handles scheduling earlier. This brings up the idea of proactive agency. I love this concept. Most AIs are reactive. They just sit there like a golden retriever waiting for you to throw the ball. Hello. Hi, how can I help?
Claude.bot can be proactive. It can run on a schedule. It uses cron jobs, which are just scheduled tasks. Think about a morning briefing.
Okay. Walk me through a morning with Claude.bot. I'm just waking up.
So you set it up so that at 7 a.m. every single day, Claude.bot wakes up. You are still asleep. The bot scans your Google Calendar for the day's meetings. It checks the local traffic news for your commute. It maybe checks the stock performance of 3 companies you're watching, or the latest headlines on a specific topic you care about.
It's going out and synthesizing all this data from different sources.
All on its own. And then, before you've even had your coffee, it sends a concise, bullet-pointed report to your WhatsApp.
So I wake up, I look at my phone, and there's a message from my bot saying, good morning. You have a meeting at 10 with the marketing team. Traffic is bad on the 405, so you should probably leave 15 minutes early. And by the way, Tech Corp stock is down 2% pre-market.
Exactly that. It pushes relevant, timely information to you. Or take local file monitoring. It can literally watch a folder on your computer.
Like a digital watchdog.
Right. Let's say you receive invoices as PDFs via email, and you always save them to your downloads folder. You can tell the bot, watch this folder. Whenever a new PDF appears that contains the word invoice, I want you to read it, extract the total amount and the due date, and add it to my expense spreadsheet.
So the moment I download the file, the work is already done.
The moment it hits your disk, it's like having a digital intern that never sleeps, doesn't ask for a raise, and never, ever makes a copy-paste error.
And doesn't complain about the coffee.
And doesn't complain about the coffee.
That is the dream.
Yeah.
But let's talk about where this interaction happens. Because you mentioned WhatsApp. And this is section 5 of our deep dive, which we are calling the moat killer.
This is where the strategy gets really, really disruptive. Big tech, we're talking Meta, Google, Apple, they all have the same fundamental strategy. They want to own the interface. They want to build the moat.
The moat is what keeps users trapped in the castle, right?
Exactly. Meta put that little blue circle in WhatsApp and Instagram recently. Ask Meta AI. They want you to stay inside WhatsApp, talking to their AI, giving them your data so they can train their models and sell you ads.
And Claude.bot says no thank you.
Claude.bot meets users where they already are, but it does so on its own terms. It integrates with WhatsApp, Telegram, Discord, Signal, even iMessage.
So I don't have to download a new Claude app that I'll forget about and never open. I just text my bot on WhatsApp like I'm texting a friend.
Precisely. But here is the dumb pipe theory. This is the key. Claude.bot treats WhatsApp merely as a transport layer. It treats it as a dumb pipe.
So Meta becomes just the carrier pigeon. They're just delivering the mail.
That is the perfect way to put it. Meta wants to be the destination. Claude.bot demotes them to the infrastructure. The intelligence isn't on Meta's servers. When you send a message, it goes through WhatsApp servers, yes, but it hits your local gateway on your computer. Your agent processes it locally, generates the answer, and sends it back through the pipe.
So Meta just sees encrypted traffic passing through, but they don't own the brain of the conversation. They can't see the context.
They're hollowed out. Their moat is being drained.
But wait, let me play devil's advocate here for a second. Won't Meta just block this? If they see a bot running on a personal account, won't they just ban your phone number?
That is the risk. It's a very real risk. However, Claude.bot uses libraries like Bailey's for WhatsApp that are designed to mimic the behavior of a web client. So to WhatsApp servers, it looks like you just have WhatsApp web open on your computer. It's hard to distinguish from a human user, especially if the volume isn't at a spam level. But you are right, it is a game of cat and mouse.
But assuming it works, this allows for what you called in the notes, the cross-platform brain.
This is huge. If you use Meta AI on WhatsApp, and then you go over to X and you use Grok, those two AIs do not know each other exist. They're complete strangers. They have no idea what you said on the other platform.
Right. They're totally siloed. They are trapped inside their own apps.
But Claude.bot has a unified memory. You can start a conversation on WhatsApp while you're on the bus. You can say, hey, remind me to look up that insurance thing when I get home. Then you get home, you sit down at your PC, you open Telegram or Discord, and you ask, so what was I supposed to look up?
And it knows.
It knows instantly because the memory is in that local markdown file we talked about. It doesn't matter which pipe the message came through. It all flows to the same brain.
It creates a seamless continuity of self that the big platforms simply cannot offer because they refuse to share data with each other.
They're competitors. They have no incentive to.
And speaking of data sharing or, preventing it, this brings us to the data sovereignty angle. If I'm using Claude.bot on WhatsApp, can Meta see what I'm doing?
They can see the text of the messages because it's passing through their servers, unless you're using a fully end-to-end encrypted service like Signal or Nostr. But they cannot harvest the context or the deep memory to train their ad models in the same way because the database of your life isn't on their servers.
They see the stream, but they don't see the lake.
Great analogy. They're missing the big picture, which is all stored locally with you.
Which segues perfectly into the ultimate level of privacy, decentralization, and the Nostr integration.
Yes. For those who haven't heard of it, Nostr stands for Notes and Other Stuff Transmitted by Relays.
A very catchy name.
Very literal.
It is a very engineering-focused name, but the philosophy behind it is profound. It's built on the concept of smart clients, dumb servers.
Can you explain that? Because usually we think of servers as the supercomputers, the smart ones.
In the Twitter or Facebook model, the server is smart. The server's algorithm decides what you see in your feed. The server decides if you get banned. The server holds all your data. The client, your app on your phone, is just a dumb screen. It's a dumb terminal.
And in Nostr?
In Nostr, the roles are reversed. The client is smart. You, the user, hold the keys. The servers, which are called relays, are just dumb mailboxes. They just store and forward messages. They have no real power. I like the analogy you used in the pre-show notes. The bulletin board versus the telephone pole.
Right. Think of Twitter or Facebook like a bulletin board inside a locked building owned by a corporation. They own the building. They own the board. If they lock the door, nobody sees your post. If they don't like your post, they can tear it down.
And Nostr.
Nostr is like posting a flyer on 50 different telephone poles all over the city. The relays are just the telephone poles. They don't own your flyer. They just hold it for a while. If one telephone pole gets knocked down by a car, or if the city paints over it, your flyer is still on the other 49 poles.
It's censorship resistance through massive redundancy.
Exactly. And Claude.bot utilizes a protocol called NIP-zo4, which enables encrypted direct messages on this decentralized network.
NIP-zo4. It sounds like a directive from a sci-fi movie.
It stands for Nostr Implementation Possibility. It's just a standard for how to do things. But what it means is that your identity on Nosker isn't a phone number. It isn't an email address. It is a cryptographic key pair. You have a public key, your npub, which is like your username, and a private key, your nsec, which is your password.
So no one can delete my account because my account is just a mathematical number that I hold myself.
Exactly. You are the math.
Yeah.
And the bot can connect to multiple relays simultaneously. So if one relay goes down or if one relay operator decides they don't like you and bans you, the bot is still reachable on the other 10 relays you're connected to.
It's a failsafe. It's an escape hatch.
It provides a communication channel that is completely independent of any corporate gatekeeper. If WhatsApp bans your number, if Discord deletes your server, you can still talk to your Claude.bot via Nostrar. It can't be shut down.
That is really powerful. It's like having a satellite phone for your AI when all the cell towers go down. It's insurance for your digital agency.
It is the ultimate fallback plan and the ultimate guarantee of sovereignty.
Okay, let's talk money. Because free open source software usually comes with a hidden cost, or it requires you to buy expensive hardware. We are calling this section the Economics of 2026 BYO.
BYOK. Bring your own key.
So Claude.bot itself is free. You download the code from GitHub, you run it. But the intelligence, the LLM, costs money to run. Nothing is truly free in terms of compute power.
Right. And you basically have 3 paths here. Path 1 is the most straightforward. Direct API keys. You go to OpenAI or Anthropic or Google, you get a developer key, and you pay per token.
Pay as you go. Like a utility bill for intelligence.
Exactly. Path 2 is really clever, recycling subscriptions. If you already pay $20 a month for Claude Pro or ChatGPT Plus, Claude.bot can essentially borrow that session via OO.
Oh, wow. So I don't have to pay twice. I can just use this subscription I already have and get all this extra functionality.
In many cases, yes. It allows you to leverage that sunk cost and add the agency layer on top. And then there's path 3, local execution.
For the power users.
For the power users. If you have a beefy computer, maybe a gaming rig with a good GPU like an NVIDIA 4090, you can download and run open source models like Llama 3 or Mistral via a tool called Llama for absolutely $0 per token.
Free intelligence.
Completely free and completely private. The request never leaves your house. But let's look at the API costs for the cloud models, maybe looking ahead to 2026, because we have some data from Swift AI that breaks this down. The price difference between the top-tier models and the budget models is getting insane.
Let's run a scenario. Let's say I'm a heavy user. I'm using this thing to help write 50 emails a day. I'm asking for coding help. I'm summarizing articles all day long. What's the damage to my wallet?
Well, we're seeing a massive bifurcation in the market. On the high end, you have the flagship models. Think OpenAI's GPT 5.2. It's incredibly smart. Its reasoning is top-notch.
And how much are we talking for that?
The projections are around $5 per million input tokens and $20 per million output tokens. If you use that for everything, every single email, you could easily rack up a $50 or $100 monthly bill.
Ouch. Okay, that adds up fast.
It does. But now look at the budget end of the spectrum. Look at something like Google's Gemini 2.5 Flashlight.
Flashlight. Sounds fast and cheap.
It is. And it's projected to cost 10 cents per million input tokens.
Wait, did you say $5 versus 10 cents?
$5 versus 10 cents. That is a 50 times price difference for the same number of tokens.
That's the difference between buying a fancy latte and buying a nice dinner.
It's a huge gap. So the strategy here, and this is what a tool like Claude.bot allows you to do, is to mix and match. You become a model router.
What does that mean?
It means you use the cheap models, Gemini Flash, GPT 4.1, Mini for the high volume, low stakes stuff. Summarizing emails, use Flash. Checking the news, use Flash. It costs you fractions of a penny for each query.
And then, for the really complex reasoning like analyzing that insurance contract we talked about or writing a complex piece of Python code, you call in the big guns.
You route that specific high-value request to GPT-5 or Claude 3.5 Opus. You pay for the premium quality only when you actually need it.
And Claude.bot lets you configure all of this.
Yes. You are the architect of your own intelligence budget. You set the rules. If the prompt is about coding, use the expensive model. For everything else, use the cheap one.
That is the ultimate flexibility. And even if you were just recycling your $20 subscription, the value proposition of Claude.bot is that it adds the agency.
That's the whole point. I can pay $20 for ChatGPT, but ChatGPT in the browser cannot read my local files. It cannot execute a Python script in my terminal. Claude.bot takes that same intelligence that you're already paying for and gives it permission to do things in your world.
It unlocks the potential that the browser interface artificially locks away for safety and simplicity.
Correct. It takes the leash off.
So let's bring this all together. Let's look at the bigger picture. This feels like a classic David versus Goliath story. We are seeing a clash of two fundamental strategies: vertical integration versus horizontal integration.
And vertical is definitely Apple and Google.
We call it the silo strategy.
Absolutely. Apple Intelligence is baked deep into the iPhone. It's in the silicon. It knows your photos, your messages, your location, your calendar. It is incredibly convenient. It feels like magic.
But you are locked in. You have to buy the iPhone. You have to use their apps. You have to live in their beautifully manicured walled garden.
And all of your data is shared within their ecosystem to make that magic happen. Claude.bot represents the horizontal layer. It doesn't care if you use Windows, Mac, or Linux. It works on all of them. It uses that computer use capability to bypass the official APIs.
What do you mean by that?
It doesn't need Apple's permission to read your contacts. If it can just open your Contacts app and read the screen like a human would, it works on top of everything.
It's the pluralistic future.
I think so. Look, it's not going to be a winner-take-all market. Centralized AI, like what Apple and Google are building, will always win for the masses because it is easy. It's the default setting. Most people will never install WSL2, and that's okay.
They just want it to work right out of the box.
But decentralized AI, represented by projects like Claude.bot, provides deep personalization. It provides real privacy. And most importantly, it provides real agency for those who are willing to do a little bit of setup.
The ultimate conclusion here seems to be about the moat. Investors are always obsessed with the moat. What's the defensible thing that protects a business?
For a long time, people thought the model was the moat. We have GPT-4, and you don't. But models are rapidly becoming commodities. As we saw with the pricing, the cost of intelligence is dropping towards zero.
So what is the real moat then?
It's the user's personal context, your data, your conversation history, your files, your preferences. That is the only thing that cannot be commoditized. And Claude.bot keeps that moat in your hands. If you use Apple Intelligence, Apple owns your moat. If you use Claude.bot, you own it.
That is a powerful thought. It's about owning the context of your own digital life.
It really is. It's digital self-ownership.
So I have to ask you, and I really want the listeners to think about this too, is Claude.bot the blueprint for a future where we own our AI? Or are we just, kidding ourselves? Will the sheer convenience of Apple and Google, the fact that it just works out of the box, always win for 99% of people?
It's the classic Linux moment question, isn't it? Linux runs the world's servers. It runs the entire internet, but most people use Windows or Mac OS on their desktops. Is Claude.bot the Linux of AI assistants? Incredibly powerful, sovereign, limitless, but maybe a bit too technical for my grandmother to set up.
Or is this the beginning of a shift where technical sovereignty becomes user-friendly enough that everyone can do it, that it's no longer a niche thing?
That is the quest. That's the holy grail. Can we make sovereignty convenient? If we can, then everything changes.
This is an unfolding story, and we want to hear from you. Are we being too optimistic about open source here? Are we being too critical of the big tech silos?
We invite you to share your own analysis in the comments. We read every single one. We want to know what you think. And we are always looking for collaborators. If you're a tech expert, a privacy advocate, or just someone who installed this and found a cool use case, or someone who failed to install it and wants to vent, please reach out.
We want to review your content. We want to build this knowledge base together as a community.
Absolutely.
Thank you for listening to this deep dive into Claude.bot. Remember to subscribe, boost us on Soundon. Every single sat counts. And help us get to that 1,000 subscriber goal so we can start bringing you the Mosaic AI video editor visuals you deserve.
It's going to be great. Until next time. Keep searching.
I'm Satosha.
And I'm Satoshi.